Hey everybody, just a quick little something I want to share with you all. I'm putting books in my library, and Mark Edward had a lot of books when he came to live with me. He brought at least 1,000 books, maybe 2,000 books. I don't even know. I've given away, sold tons and tons and tons of books, and I have a lot that I'm adding to my library. So I'm going back through my library and looking at everything. And oh my gosh, books mean so much to me. I haven't really been doing a lot of reading the last year. I mean, some audiobooks and stuff, but anyway, the point is I have this program, it's called Library Thing, and lots of people have different kinds of databases that they put their information in, but I use Library Thing. So if you're on it, make sure you whatever the equivalent of friending is on Library Thing to me. But I'm doing the children's books, and I've never added my children's books to my library, my database. And I everything my kids read, I would read. And so I've still got their books. I have a lot of my sister and my brother's books who are much older than I am, and then books that was given to me. Now, I came across a book, and I swear I could tear up in seconds just looking at this book. It was now my parents weren't the type that bought new things. It wasn't like we were poor. It's just that we didn't, we got hand-me-downs or you got it used or that kind of thing. That's usually or it was made. My family wasn't the type that went out and bought new things. And I can't remember ever receiving a book. I just can't. My father was a avid reader. He read all the time. But I had to go to the library. I had or I got hand-me-downs, or like I say, I got from Goodwill, or not Goodwill, but like a garage sale or something like that. But I remember I had this teacher in fifth grade, and his name was Mr. Johnson. I don't remember him hardly at all, except I can remember coming into my classroom, Fremont School in Salinas, and I think it was after lunch, and all of the little desks that we had a little scholastic book on it. And mine felt so special because the name was Susan. I I'm tearing up just thinking about it. I felt so special. I felt like somebody really took the time to get me a special book. And of course, he just got it because my name is Susan, but it really felt meaningful. And I looked at it and he's inscribed it too. It says, I made a scan of this right now because I want to make sure that I preserve this if anything ever happens to my thing. It says Susan Gerbic from Mr. Johnson, 1971. And I think now I can remember myself always being a reader and loving books and reading and reading and reading. But up until this time, I don't really remember having a love of books before fifth grade. I I just don't remember it. This just seems like just one of those moments boom, in the sand. I remember it right, boom, like I got it. And it was a sweet story about a young girl whose name is Susan. And the book was made in 1968, I believe, is published. The copy I have is all worn out and old. But so what? I've got lots of books that are worn out and old. Have to be careful. 1966. So I was 5 years old, 4 years old when this is printed by Barbara C. Smucker. Original title was called Wigwam in the City. And it was a little Native American girl who was forced to go to English school. I don't really remember his story really well. I've read it a couple times. It says Susan is a new girl and she doesn't know anyone in the big crowded schoolyard. Shyly, she watches some girls jumping rope. I'd like to play with them, she thinks, and walks slowly towards them. But suddenly a loud voice yells, "Hey, here comes the Indian." Susan Bearskin wants to run away and cry. Everything is so awful in this big city. I tell you, those scholastic books that they have, you can still even, I mean, when I was raising my sons, I don't care how much money, how in debt I was. I don't care how hard it was going to be to make my rent or my house payment or whatever it was at that time. But when those books flyers came around, they could get anything they wanted off of them. And I don't remember buying them a lot of things that were and I definitely had no money when I was my husband, my then husband at the time, and I were raising our sons, but they could get anything. And I keep running across some of the books, and they've got their names written on the cover inside because they did get some books. But you can get those flyers still. You can go to the website for Scholastic Books, and you can order those books if you want, and then you can put in the name of a school, maybe something you went to or something in your neighborhood, and you don't have to wait for a book fair. You can put them in and they will get the donation. They'll get the proceeds for it. And I think that's just wonderful. I have no children in my life right now. I have one friend that has a grandchild, and she's got zillions of books, apparently. Just, get those kids while they're young and you don't know what kind of impact you're going to have on somebody. Look at me. I'm tearing up thinking about this teacher who gave me this book in 1971. It meant that much to me. I still have it. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, wherever you are. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.